going on, everybody? It's your boy DJ, co-owner of Overwatch Protection. Got my man's Batch here, Rashawn Cumberbatch.
What's going on? Also co-owner.
And then we got our newest addition to the team, my man's Anthony Briggs. Go ahead and tell him about yourself, man.
What's going on, everybody? So my name is Anthony Briggs. Everybody call me Briggs. Been doing martial arts since I was young, particularly jiu-jitsu. That's a popular martial art right now, so pretty much a lot of grappling. The style of jiu-jitsu that I also do has a lot of weapons and strategies and other things that some other systems don't have. That's also thanks to my instructor, who also served in the United States Marine Corps. So, so I've been doing this when I'm 32 now. I've been doing this since I was 13. So,
All your life.
all life, yeah, all
Goodness,
time.
my goodness. All right, so we're gonna speak on that right now for the martial arts stuff. So, what kind of things did you teach people who would come to us to get some type of training?
So the biggest thing that I would definitely work on with people is like self-defense. I'm big on protecting yourself. With real violent conflicts, it also helps that I grew up in Baltimore City, so I see my fair share of certain things. Also being in the security business as well,
Yep.
bouncing at clubs and stuff like that. So like one thing that really helped me out was seeing how violence really works. Now I'm a huge fan of MMA. It's my favorite sport. However, it's still a game. It's a game, but like plays with violence, but it doesn't really talk about the psychology of violence and weapons, which is a huge thing too that people forget about. And I think what I can bring to the table as far as this team is concerned is bringing the hand-to-hand element to like the weapons that you guys have as well, because there are situations, especially in modern warfare, where you could be in your house and you might not have open fields and things like that. So you can have an enemy behind the corner and he might have a blade or something like that. So it's like the gun may help, but like now you in a tussle. So I feel like that is what I feel like I could bring to the table as far as like teaching the grappling and the close quarters, as well as bladed weapons and stick weapons as well. That's a whole different thing. But I think just it takes care of that range where we're really, really close, and where you guys take care of the range where it's far away. And I feel like the combination of the two is like you.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And it also helps out with us living in Maryland, because as you know, everybody can't carry in Maryland.
Absolutely.
So it might be a situation where you had to defend yourself and you ain't got your weapon.
Exactly.
So you won't have to use your hands.
Absolutely.
Right. So things that you would kind of go over is like how to like disarm somebody from like with even a handgun, but like a knife or like a bat or whatever, stick weapons.
Absolutely. And my first thing, especially with anything, as you guys know, because you guys security as well, de-escalation is the first thing, because you get not put yourself in the situation. That's the best thing possible. However, if you do get into the situation, you need to defend yourself. Recognizing what particular body parts to control. That's the biggest thing I love about jiu-jitsu, is that it teaches you about control. So like if dude does have a weapon or something like that, you, rather than other martial, and this is no shot to any other martial art, but it's like you can't just strike a gun out of somebody's hand or strike a knife. Like so much going on.
It's not in movies.
Exactly.
Right.
It's not
Yeah.
movies, exactly. Exactly. But if you can like hold them and control the appendage that has the certain weapon, having that control of that weapon can definitely be the determining factor if you get killed or not, or get injured or not. And I feel like that is the biggest thing. That's the first thing I usually teach people, is like, under recognizing the control portion, and of course controlling the distances. There are a lot of things I'm going to work on, especially in the beginning, is how to close the distance, and also how to get away as well, to get to a safe distance where you can use your firearm. And as far as like weapons are concerned, and that's a kind of crazy topic too, because in a weapon situation, it's one of those things like you got to almost accept what the possibility of something happening. By me doing a Japanese martial art that's based off the samurai, one thing that they always talking about is when you go to war, just expect to die, that type of thing. So
Okay.
if you're trying to get a guy with a knife, go into it knowing that you're gonna get cut. That's the first thing. You know what I mean? It might happen. So I think just taking like you said, the movies, taking that out of the equation and putting more of a real life spin on things like that.
So you would consider like a I guess like a warrior mindset, like I'm possibly going to get injured, but do you think that like makes you fight harder?
I think it does. Just because I think it makes you fight harder because if you go into a situation knowing that there's a possibility that you might not make it out, you start to realize what's important. Like I'm married, you know, you're married. Like we got families, we got, you know, friends that we want to see. So I think if you go into it knowing that you could possibly lose that, it'll shift, you know, how you handle that situation. Mm-hmm. You know, versus if you just kind of go into it where a lot of people they get into violent conflicts because of their ego. I feel like they're not going into it thinking that they can lose everything, and I think that's what a lot of times.
See, I like that. So I want to ask a question about the whole ego thing. So like, you've been training for over 15 years or something like that, right?
Yep.
So does that make you like carry yourself differently in like, I guess like, I mean, even like day-to-day situations, like if you just like going out, like, you know, like I don't know, like for me, and we've had a conversation before, like I always have a smile on my face, I'll shake everybody's hand, you know, nice to meet you, blah, blah, whatever. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking like, if something goes south, like I got a plan to take you out, get you to safety, take you out.
Exactly.
So like, you having that training, especially for over 15 years, does that give you a certain type of ego where you're like, oh, I can definitely take anybody, or is it just like what kind of, like, how do you carry yourself?
You know, it's interesting because it's a little bit of both. It's like you do get the confidence knowing that you can handle yourself, but the irony of the situation is like, I know for me, I overestimate everybody. I put everybody on my level, and that keeps me in check because it's like, you know, if I can walk around with stuff and y'all can walk around knowing some stuff, that means anybody else can walk around. Because at the end of the day, we just regular human beings, you know what I mean? That just happen to be blessed with certain skills. But, like, there's other people walking around that's blessed with these skills. So I would say that it does give you a sense of confidence, but it's also an ego check as well. You know, and one thing in jiu-jitsu, we got this saying, tap, snap, and nap. Which means you either going to tap, something going to snap,
or you going to go to sleep.
So like, and it's something to say about like when you in the middle, like somebody got you in an arm bar, you can literally try to fight, but like your brain is like, you got to make a split-second decision. You're like, all right, I'm done. And then that does something. That does something when you constantly over and over and over getting tapped out. It does something to you. You get, it's humility. You like, yo,
You're humbling.
You're humbling, yeah. And
Okay.
it makes you actually respect violence more.
Yeah.
Like on my job, I was recently on tour because I also do stunt work as well. And I had a friend of mine who I was on tour with who asked me, who's not a martial artist, but he asked a really interesting question. He said, because I always tend to always be around violence, being in martial arts, do I tend to be more of a violent person? And I was like, actually, no. Like, in fact, I was like, you're in more of a situation to be in a violent situation than I am, because when you respect violence, you can pick it out a mile away and you know how to avoid it and not be in those situations.
So you had that situational awareness.
Absolutely.
Okay. So for the people that are, you know, watching and listening and whatnot, Briggs and I, we go back to what, 2000 and
oh man, we going minutes.
14?
Yeah.
2014, 2015. So we both started working mall security at one of the malls here in Maryland, and we would have considered ourselves some elite task force.
Oh yeah,
we used to be hopping over escalators and jumping down, running through the food court and all that, breaking out fights and all that stuff. No, but I mean, I really understand what you're saying. You know, you definitely respect that violence. I mean, we saw our, you know, fair share of violence, and this is right around the riots. Yep. With the Freddie Gray stuff and all that. You know, myself being military. Yeah. I was, you know, Maryland National Guard.
I remember that.
And infantry. So I got activated for that, and we've seen, you know, quite a few things just around the country.
Yeah.
As of lately, you know, Sean, he's you know, prior military. He's a Marine, so he's seen his fair share as well, I'm sure. But yeah, no, I mean, that's a great outlook. Definitely respecting the violence. So, if someone were to, you know, want to own their skills and, you know, get better with the hand-to-hand stuff just to be able to protect themselves, number one, what should they expect coming into the class? And then number two, do they have to have some type of like level of experience before coming to you?
That's a good question. I try to base everything off of if you don't have any experience. However, there's a lot of people that have done things like wrestling, which helps a lot. Like one of my students now, comes from 4 years of wrestling, and also was a Navy guy as well. So but he 4 years of wrestling already. He came in and he's used to that grappling aspect. But for people who are not used to it, one of the things I definitely try to get people used to is that like being close. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people don't want people grabbing up on them. Most people don't. You know what I mean? But we're humans. We got opposable thumbs. We grab everything. And one thing they can expect is to get really comfortable with being close. You know what I mean? Because like I said, it's all about control. Somebody's trying to control you. You're trying to control them. And so that's the first thing. One other thing that I like to do with people when I first start is I put them in the worst possible situation, which is basically called a top mount. Somebody sitting on your chest. That's the worst possible. You don't want to be in that position because somebody can just rain down punches. They can choke you. You're just in the most vulnerable position. And quick story, that's funny because I used to do karate when I was really little, and what got me into this martial art was because I got into a situation when I was in school, when I was real young. Dude pushed me down, got on top mount, beat my ass. And it was like, oh, excuse me, can I curse?
Yeah, you good.
Okay, my fault. Yeah, my fault. But
it's safe for the kids.
It woke me up. I was like, whoa, like, don't get me wrong, I love all martial arts, but it woke me up. I was like, man, like, they didn't teach me how to, like, deal with a person sitting on my chest. It was like, sure, if we mono squared up, I could kind of do my thing, but, like, on the ground, it was like a whole different world. It was like, what? So then I found my instructor, been there ever since, because, but that is one of the main things the people can expect when they first start training is learning from the worst possible situation. Now, things do change when you add the element of weapons involved, too, because that, you really don't want to be on the ground. Like, I tell everybody, like, I'm extremely comfortable on the ground, but I'm not comfortable on the ground, if that makes sense. Like, I'm cool being there. I don't want to be there.
Right. You know what to do if you're there, but you don't want to be there.
And the goal is to get out of that situation the entire time. Okay,
because when you train outside, and that's another thing, I'm a little extreme in some of my training, too. Like, I train in the school as well, but I take some of my students outside in dirt and things, because, like, it changes things.
Real life.
So, do you prefer training indoors or do you prefer training outdoors?
I love outdoors. I love being outdoors. I'm a free spirit. I like being out in the world and just kind of doing stuff. Indoors there's a place for it. I think for business it's good. To get your everyday man and work 40 hours a week. He comes into a facility, you train for like an hour and go home. I think that's good for people like that. But like I feel like for the serious, now if you're doing it for competition, then definitely you want to be in a school. There's a lot of guys that do it for competition. But with me, I'm more about, like, I keep it real with people. I'm gonna teach you how to fight. Like, like self-defense, sure, but like real time, I teach people how to fight, how to get down, get dirty. But in order to do that, you gotta be out, so you gotta fight how you train. So like a lot of people can be in their gi, barefoot, on mats. It's a lot different when you outside in a tactical vest, BDU, some boots on, muddy, slippery, you on a hill. Like there's so many other elements that I think that are very important for combat, and especially when you're talking about weapons, because that adds a whole different thing. You got a whole utility belt, you got guns and knives on your holsters and everything. You fall to one side, it's a whole different thing. So I think that my whole philosophy is the more you make it real, the better you have a situation.
Yeah, so pretty much like the likelihood of you getting attacked inside of an air-conditioned, padded, matted,
the scenarios are
it's not gonna happen.
Exactly.
It's definitely giving you more of a tactical advantage of training in the actual element that you could possibly get attacked in.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So I mean, and this is definitely needless to say to me, but still, probably a question that needs to be asked: when you're training with weapons, are they real?
So. If I'm training with another person, no, because I try to keep it safe, be safe as possible.
Yeah.
But I do train with my weapons. Like I got my knife. I love knives. Like I'm a bladed. I love blades. But I'll train with, because it's the same thing. It's like you can train with a airsoft gun, but you still need the sense of that real firearm.
Yeah.
So I do think when I'm by myself, if I take my katana out and I'm swinging that in the house, when no one's there, sure, because you want to get that real feel. But if I'm training with other people, I usually use like wooden knives or like a rubber knife or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew that, but just
want
to make sure other people.
Safety's a big thing with me. I'm big on safety because we training in something dangerous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could die.
Yeah.
You could. Yeah.
Seriously injure yourself. Yeah.
Yep.
So I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Fitness. What is when people are coming to you? want them to be at a certain fitness level, or how does that work? With
That's a good question. It would be nice if they were at a certain fitness level. If not, I can give them drills to help them get there. Because I do feel like, the skills that we have to offer to the public, anybody can learn it. It's just, like it shouldn't be just reserved for, the athletes and things like that. But so if they don't, I have drills to help them out. I will say that definitely in fighting or anything, physicality is going to be a big thing.
Yeah.
But I'm welcome with everybody. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, especially for those students who want to come in and just start from scratch.
Exactly.
From the beginning. So with this training, will it also help prevent, I guess, like domestic violence type of encounters?
Absolutely. I personally think so. My wife and I have these conversations all the time. I'm a big advocate on women, especially women, because we as men, we already strong physically, so we kind of already got that going for us. But I feel like with women, and for example, like women go through a lot like more domestic. Not to say men don't either, because we do. There's some situations, but I think it's important for women to learn things like that, because the cool thing about jiu-jitsu is the fact that it doesn't necessarily rely on strength. It's all physics and leverage and things like that. So I forgot who said it, but it was but it's old Greek. I forgot who said it. It might have been Atlas or something, but he has a quote where he's like, "Give me a fulcrum and a lever, and I can move the world." You know what I mean? Like that really resonates with me, because like it doesn't. It just and that, mind you, it don't have anything to do with jiu-jitsu per se, because he was doing something else. But I think it does help. You give women or anybody who is less physically, what am I trying to say? Less physically opposing. I think it does give them something. It's the great equalizer in some cases.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Okay. And then so, with your teachings, is there like some type of like progression or like anything like that when you're going through your stuff with them, or is it just like, they come to you like once or twice and then like they're just done?
Well, I feel like definitely a progression. Because the thing about this particular martial art, it takes a while to get good at. It does, and it's something that needs to be constantly pressure tested over and over and over again. Because there's a lot of things that I can show somebody a technique, but if you don't have somebody that's resisting it or things like that, there's so many lessons you don't learn. Mm-hmm. So I definitely do have a progression system that I'm coming up with because I do have my own curriculum that my own personal students go to. It is a very intensive. It takes forever. Like I said, one of my students, he's been training with me for 5 years, and he's only like green belt. He's only like mid-level.
Really?
With his wrestling training as well, because we do a lot of other things too, like a lot of weapons training, old weapons and new weapons, a lot of outdoor survival things, like learning how to make fires and shelters.
Nice.
But for this particular program, I'm not going to have it to be that extent unless people want to come over to that side and want to learn all that. Like, I'm just going to focus on the basics, how to properly stand, base, leverage, and things like that. But yeah, there is a progression system, and I do believe that there is something that it's something that needs to be consistently trained, because just to show a move isn't really, it's
okay.
Not,
Okay. So how long would the class be?
I would say,
like time wise,
I say a good time would probably be an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Okay.
I think, because it's so much that goes on. I could spend a 2-hour class on just an arm bar, just how leverage works with it. So it's like, and especially in the beginning courses, the beginning stages, I feel like there's gonna be a lot of things like body positioning, how to stand up, how to properly stand when somebody grabs you, because there's a lot of people who just don't have balance. Like they may walk every day in everyday life, but when it comes down to a fighting situation, they don't have balance, and so many things are just off. I watch a lot of like World Star Hip Hop fight videos, like street fight videos, because I feel like just a study material, just to see what people do.
It's that raw stuff.
Yeah, it's raw, exactly. Yep.
And the other person that's going to attack you is probably going to have that same type of...
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so I mean, you have any other questions for this program specifically?
No, we good. I like what you offer. Sure.
I think. Look, I'm taking classes too.
Right. I'm learning from y'all too.
So our program is gonna be just like Anthony said, hand-to-hand combatives. I'm gonna teach you guys how to strike and counter strike, disarm weapons and even do some strikes with weapons and stuff
Absolutely.
like that too. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
So the program, if you did register for the class, it is $175, and it gets you 4 sessions with Anthony within a month, and then you can come with a subscription, and then you can continue on with the progression and whatnot as you see fit. But it is for anybody and everybody, men, women, even kids.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Awesome.
Now, kids, I will say this: kids are gonna be a little different because weapons are kind of like when it comes to that. So it's like, kids are different. It's gonna be more games.
Okay.
More of a game type of thing.
Okay.
But yeah.
As in, like, okay, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay. Nah, okay. Yep. All right. Cool. Yeah. So, this hand-to-hand program is going to start May, right? We're starting
May. That's
next month. Yep.
Perfect.
Starting on May, so you guys can go on to ovwpro.com. You can see the hand-to-hand combat with Anthony, our 15-year study instructor. He's great at his job. I mean, it has been his entire life. Last thing before we move on to the next part of the podcast and the vlog. How comfortable do people need to be, especially around or with COVID being around?
That is interesting. Due to the nature of what grappling entails,
It's not COVID friendly.
it's not COVID friendly.
Right.
I'm just going to say
Right.
that. It's definitely
So would it be like at their discretion if they need to wear a mask, or you're requesting them to wear a mask?
If they want to wear a mask, that's cool. That's definitely cool. One thing that I've definitely been doing is I feel like grappling dummies help, because if that does, because I own a grappling dummy myself. Now the only thing is you're not gonna get real life feedback because it's a dummy, but you can practice certain things on it. Now I will say in the very beginning, it's not gonna really be too much, because the way that I have it so far, and that curriculum could change, but the way I have it now is in the very beginning, they're not gonna really be learning too much combative stuff yet. It's more like how to stand, the fundamentals, what happens if you fall down, how to stand back up, how to properly stand up.
Okay.
The basics.
The basics, exactly.
So still relatively COVID friendly, but in a situation where you're getting attacked, you have to expect that, like, if your attacker is coming at you, they're not going to say, 6 feet away because COVID.
Exactly.
So,
yep.
All right. Okay. Awesome. So we're going to segue into the firearms portion of the company. Thank you again, Anthony, for that.
Thank you for having me.
So once again, what we do, the main broad spectrum of Overwatch Protection is firearms training. We do train people to get their HQL, which is the handgun qualification license in Maryland. We also train to get the wear and carry handgun permit in Maryland. Now, with that, it is extremely difficult to get that in Maryland unless you fit that good of substantial reason, meaning you have to be either a business owner or someone an employee within the business that handles money, and I'm not talking about $25, $30. Big money.
Cash drops.
Yes. You moving weight with money. And then on top of that, you have to be either a private investigator, working for a company,
Sponsored by a security company.
or sponsored by an armed security company, or if you have been in some life-threatening situations that can be proven by court documentation, like a restraining order or something like that. If you don't fit within those categories, it is going to be pretty hard to get your wear and carry for the state of Maryland. But do not worry. We do also offer the Florida Concealed Weapons License, which gives you 31 states that you can actually carry in legally and on your person. Obviously, big thing is Florida is the main one. But like I said, 31 states. A lot of us definitely travel. It may not be as often now because of COVID, but nonetheless, we still travel, and as COVID starts to at least become more of a norm and things start to open up more, we will definitely be traveling a lot more often. And I feel like people really need to know that there are other options, at least Maryland residents, that there are other options other than just getting your HQL and then that being the end-all be-all, that you can actually legally carry and protect yourself and your family members or whoever you're with when you're outside of the state. Not a lot of other companies really offer that. You hear a lot of people who are like, oh, well, you got to get the Florida one, then you got to also take this Utah class one. Utah does not give you anything but Washington, the state of Washington. That's the only difference between Utah and the state of Florida for the concealed weapons license. And on top of that, if you get the Utah one instead of the Florida one, you can't even go to Florida and carry. So Florida's not on that list.
Right.
So, and I don't know about y'all, but I'm going to Florida a lot more than I'm going to Utah.
Yeah, that's all.
Or the state of Washington.
Look at it this way too, with the Florida head government. We in the DMV area. You can carry in Virginia with the Florida
CWL.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
A lot of Marylanders work. A lot of people who live in this area work in Virginia.
Yep. Yep. So, like I said, I mean, it's unfortunate that Maryland's laws are not as allowing for the wear and carry for our citizens. But there are other options, and we'd like to tell you that you guys can take full advantage of those options. The way our classes work, especially during COVID, the state of Maryland and really most states in the country have allowed firearms instructors to be able to teach, and instruct classes, at least the classroom portion, online. So all of our classes right now are being held via Zoom for your convenience. Our HQL classes are 4 hours mandated by the state of Maryland. I think we add in an extra 30 minutes to maybe an hour just to really go over, because our HQL classes also get you the Florida concealed weapons license. We have put that into a package for you all, so that way you don't have to take extra classes after you get your HQL or anything like that. You can get your HQL and be able to apply for that Florida CWL all after you finish the class. One-stop shop. Yes. So, with that Florida CWL, we actually add in the legal use of force because that is extremely important to go over, especially in today's times. You really need to know when and how you can use any level of force, whether it be reasonable or deadly, especially with the ability to be able to carry outside of the state. Because once again, to get your Maryland wear and carry, you would even have to take a 16-hour course in order to get that permit. And
still got to qualify too.
Right.
Wow.
So our HUL class will probably be a little bit longer than most places, but you get a lot more out of it. Like I said, it's online, so it's COVID friendly. So after you would take the class, you would contact either Sean or myself, or even just talk to us after the class, and then you would really just schedule a time that you're available to meet at the gun range that we use, which is Gundry, and it is in Owings Mills. If you do live further in Maryland, we are very flexible people, and we will meet you at the range closest to your home. That is not a problem. We chose Gundry because if you all have ever been to Gundry or even look it up, Gundry is a state-of-the-art shooting range. It's indoor. It has two 25-yard ranges, a 100-yard range for long rifles. It's got a 300-degree simulator. Mm-hmm. It's got a cafeteria.
It's heaven for if you like to shoot guns.
Yes,
Like
it is. Yes, yeah. We will take it. We'll take you out there. We'll take you out there. But it's great. It's a great atmosphere. That's what we do. We went over the HQL plus Florida. We also have just the Florida class. So for those of you who have already taken your HQL class and received your HQL either with a physical ID or after January, then you get the little email that they give out. We still offer the Florida class for you. You guys can take that. That class is about 2 hours in length, if that. And once again, we go over the legal use of force and then the laws and regulations in regards to the state of Florida, where you can and can't carry, and that whole application process and all that stuff. After you took that class, then you were good to go ahead and apply for and obtain the Florida CWL. The cool thing about Florida, which is not so cool in Maryland, is that Florida is a shall issue state, meaning All right, welcome back, everybody. Quick, short break. going back over the states. So as I was saying, the state of Florida is cool. Maryland is not cool when it comes to weapons because Florida is a shall issue state. As long as you fit the good requirements, which is pretty much 21 years old, in good standing, don't have any felonies, anything like that. Pretty much the average person, they have to give you your permit within 90 days of receipt of reception of the application. So, and you can always, once again in the class, we'll talk about how you can track your status and all that stuff. But as soon as they receive your application and you are pretty much in good standing, they have to issue that permit to you within 90 days. Maryland is a May issue state, and they're like,
you gotta have a good reason, good liable reason to have a gun on you. Pretty much.
Yeah, and it's at their discretion. It's the state trooper's discretion. They get to pick and choose. I don't know this guy's. Yeah, nah. Not going to go ahead and give you. Not going to let you protect yourself in the event of an active shooter or anything like that. Blah blah whatever.
And most of these state troopers, they do a thorough background check.
They do.
Like for me, when I had to get my interview and everything, they were pulling up traffic tickets that I had in 2015. Wow. I'm like, traffic ticket? What this guy do with me getting this gun?
They look for every they look for every reason to not give it to you. Right. While Florida looks for every reason to give it to you. Right. So it's completely backwards. Speaking on, I had just mentioned active shooter. So Sean and myself, and I think Anthony's about to get certified soon. We are also certified to instruct the CRACE class, which is civilian response to active shooter events. Excuse me. That class goes for about like an hour and a half, 2 hours max. It is a free class. We offer that class once a month. Free registration. All you do is register and you just join online.
And if you come to the class, you might get a little surprise at the end.
Man, the surprise is y'all get a discount. Y'all get a discount on all services. Man, it's too easy because, I mean, for us, well, before I get into that, so, in that class, we're really teaching people how to respond during active shooter events. And as you guys have seen, those active shooter events have started to spike back up as of recent. We actually had one in Frederick like last month or 2 months ago, something like that.
Last month, late March.
Yeah. And then we've had some other ones as well. And we really go over and teach you guys, number one, how to not make yourself as big of a target, how to survive in that situation. And on top of that, we also teach you how to make it easier and help law enforcement once they do arrive. Which is really important because, once again, nowadays, especially with the state laws of Maryland, not allowing the responsible citizens to be armed, if you're ever in that situation, the things that we teach you, you're going to have to rely on because those are the things that's going to help you save your life and the life of others as well.
And this class also helps you identify these type of situations because a lot of people get hurt or killed in these situations because they don't identify, oh, snap. I'm in an active shooter situation. Yeah. So being able to identify that you're in danger or danger is about to come I feel like that's at the top of the list. Like that is paramount.
Like we are all about training you to be sheepdogs. So, and I know people watching or listening are probably like, sheepdog. So you have sheepdogs, you have sheep, and then you have wolves. So the wolves obviously are the bad people in any type of situation. The sheep are the regular people who walk around in condition white. And when I say condition white, I mean like just zero level of awareness. Absolutely. And then you have the sheepdogs, which you got 3 sheepdogs right here who are always in at the very minimum condition orange, always on edge, just thinking. Once again, we talked about earlier, the situation is like, nice smile, nice to meet you, whatever. But in the back of my head, I got a plan. Like, if stuff goes south, I know exactly how I'm going to take you out. I know how I'm going to make my hasty escape, and I'm going to go ahead and be good. Absolutely. So, that's one of the things that we definitely teach. And just in general, like, we kind of talked on the last episode before, but the reason why we wanted to start this company is because we really wanted to encompass everything self-defense. So you don't really see places that teach firearms training and then really get into it like we do. Like, because we also do one-on-one training. Like, we can do the whole classroom setting, teach 12 people in the class and, give all that. the Maryland State recommended stuff, but then we can really get hands-on and teach one-on-one and actually own in on your actual skills and zero in on your skills and get you on target and then passing any qualification test that you need to pass. But aside from just the firearm stuff, this is why we brought on Briggs, Anthony, because we can handle the firearm stuff, but hand-to-hand combat, especially in the state of Maryland, when you are not allowed to really carry your weapon out if you don't have that permit, is going to save your life. And it's all about self-defense. And Absolutely. It's really important. It's really important.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've taught at a lot of different schools. When it comes down to martial arts, I do a whole bunch of stuff. I do like the demo team and everything. I've been all over the place. But I will say that a lot of schools don't focus on, and if they are focusing on weapons, they're focusing on more like your weapons that ain't nobody, like a katana. Like, I love katanas. I'm doing the Japanese martial art. It's one of my favorite weapons. However, we don't live in that time no more. Like, we're not in ancient Japan where dudes running around with katanas.
Ain't nobody gonna run up on you with some nunchucks.
Exactly. So it's like it's fun to know. It's definitely fun to know, and I do think that a lot of those weapons do play a lot in hand-to-hand. I'd be a liar to tell you that, like, my knife training does not help me with my hand-to-hand combat or anything like that. However, I know that I'm not running around with no spear or nothing like that. It's fun to know. But they focus on those types of things. And right now, the way I look at it is, what was the spear of yesterday, the gun is the spear of today. It serves the same purpose. Impale the other guy. Except you can impale the guy all the way over there. You know what I mean? But, so I do think the philosophy is the same with it, but the thing is, not all martial arts schools aren't teaching all of this, and it's really cool to have something like this where you got, and then vice versa, you get gun, places like I went to Free State gun range to get my master, but they don't really have, and I think they don't really have like a self-defense course, and if they do, it's like a day. So it's like, like you're not really getting everything, but like to have everything in one, it's a unique situation. It's a very, very unique situation.
Get those real world experiences. Because I can sit here and teach you information on the slide till I'm blue in the face. Exactly. But if I don't actually ever put you in those scenarios to see how you respond, all that training's for nothing.
Exactly.
I love the scenario based training. Like, I was actually having a conversation with one of my buddies yesterday, and this was just talking about the training that police go through, and he was like saying that they should probably put police in more like scenario-based trainings, like as in like recent events, to see how they would really react and like if you would do this type of thing or this type of thing, whether the scenario went down good or bad. And I think we will definitely take that approach. Just scenario-based training. If then, and what would you do? And then that's just for the firearms aspect of me, because we're not going to put you in a situation where you're really firing at something moving. Right. But at least with the hand-to-hand thing, you can do that. You know what I'm saying? So that's awesome. That's awesome. And then and I want you guys to also realize that within our HQL class, we're really going to get into home defense, because with your HQL, you are only allowed to take your weapon, and of course it's going to be separated from your ammo, from the home to the range, and then from the range back to home, or from home to a gunsmith, and then from the gunsmith back to home. So we're really going to focus on not making you as much of a target as the next person. You know what I'm saying? So we're really focusing on you, the student that is in our class. So if we can get that target availability off of you, and it puts you in a safer position than the next person, that is our goal. And if that next person wants to get put into the same situation as you, where they're in a better situation, have them come to the class too. Right. But yeah, that's the real reason why we put this whole company together, and like I said, brought on Briggs. Because we just wanted to encompass self-defense in its entirety, and really just tackle any possible situation where you could be in, and have it where you can respond effectively and have a higher chance of survivability.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yep. And with you touching on the home defense part, we can actually transition into the next part where we want to talk about home defense preference. Like, what would you prefer to use as your preferable home defense weapon for your house?
Okay. I have a 3-story house. There's a weapon on every single story, so and always within arm's reach. And I mean, and I say this all the time in my class too. So just one little tip. Yes, I have my wear and carry. Business owner, so I can freely carry around Maryland or whatever. But the thing about it, when I'm at the home, the only time that my weapon is locked into the safe is when I am laying my head down on that pillow to go to sleep. Other than that, if I am home during the day, that thing is on me at all times. There is absolutely no reason why your weapon should be locked into a safe on an entire different floor than you are, and then someone breaks into your house or some type of situation happens where you need to use it for self-defense. So, but to get to your point though, that was just a little tidbit, side note. But to get to your point, I mean, honestly, my personal opinion, the most effective home defense weapon would be a shotgun, because any sane person, they hear, I'm out of here, no longer. So oh yeah, I mean, and a lot of people know that sound just simply from like movies or video games. That's real. That's real. That is 100% real. But me personally, I do not own a shotgun, but I do have quite a few weapons within the house. Once again, there is at least one weapon on every single story of my house, and I guess my favorite one is my Glock 17. It has that tactical flashlight on the bottom of it, so I can either blind you with a strobe or straight up blind you with just a regular light. I think it's like 200 lumens on that light, so it's pretty bright. Yeah. So that's just my personal weapon for home defense. What about you?
For me, it's gonna be a shotgun, because I live in apartments, and if you come through that door, I'm funding you right down here. I ain't gotta worry about hitting none of it. It's a straight shot.
Yeah.
And I'm hitting you and whoever with you.
And it's not going through the walls either.
Exactly.
Yep.
So, and also like DJ was saying, the shotgun stay underneath my bed. The handgun is on the end table. Whichever one I get to first, if you're getting hit with something, then the rest of the house, I got knives everywhere.
Exactly.
I got knives on the side of the couch.
Boy, I'm about to find me some ninja stars.
Right. Exactly. Something.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. The shotgun, definitely. Shotgun is one of the, I feel that, because like I said, that
because that's your verbal warning too. Like,
it is.
Do I need to say anything else? You heard it.
Exactly.
All heard somebody breaking the glass. Ooh.
Yep. And I feel you when you say, like, when you in your house, because I'm the same way. Like, I don't necessarily carry my firearm on me, but I do got my blade on me. Because it's something, like I definitely keep my blade on me at all day. I'm always, because it's quick, you know what I mean? And that's just, I'm more comfortable in that position than like my firearm is like, I live with my wife, I got other family members in there, my grandmother's in the basement, so it's like, like it's just other things, but definitely a shotgun, oh yeah, that thing, like,
Bruh.
I actually need to get me a shotgun, because I don't own one, only a handgun, but
hey, look, that's one thing you don't need an HQ
that's
for.
true. You can go in and grab
You need a rifle too.
Right.
I mean, I got the AR-15.
Not only
I'm
thing-
not gonna say where it is in the house, but
Exactly.
it's in the house, and
Yep.
I mean, it is readily available for me to go ahead and pick up and if I need to.
Get busy.
Yeah, get busy. Another thing, and once again, we do go over it in class, but I do feel that's important. Even if people don't sign up for our class, just know this little bit of information. The type of round that you use for home defense is extremely important. You don't want to use the regular FMJ, Full Metal Jacket. You don't want to use the regular rounds. What you want to use are hollow points. All right?
I got one for you.
All right, bet. So the reason why we want to use hollow points is because the way they are made, when they make impact on target, they expand and it lessens the chance of it going through and through. Meaning, like, went in through my body, comes out the back of my body. So your hollow points look just like this. I know if you're in the podcast, you can't really see it, but the tip of it is hollowed out. And once again,
This is a normal round.
Yep.
You see the difference. And that one actually breaks apart wherever it hits.
Yes. So in the class, we always go over, it's even the slightest degree. If you miss from a certain distance, you can be off by a lot on target. Especially if you either have your home that's connected, or even if it's not connected, you have other people in the home with you, or just you can hit anything outside. You don't want whatever you're not aiming at to get hit with a round because it went through a wall, through a window, through the person's body that you actually wanted to hit or didn't want to hit. You don't want that to happen. So we always use hollow points for not only home defense, but even your wear and carry self-defense as well.
Right.
So the only time you should use these regular rounds is when you were at the range.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, what else? I know I'm actually go back to the notes.
Right.
Oh, here we go. This is the last one right here. What do you do to prepare your family in case of an attack in your house when you are not there? So, I guess
I think you should start because, I mean, I'm not sure your limits is what you got.
I got a family.
Right.
Yeah. So, I will say, the kids are very, very young. I mean, one just started walking. But the wife is a very, very, very capable shooter. I mean, she's on point. I mean, she's living with a firearms instructor. You would hope that she would shoot.
Exactly.
I wouldn't be doing my job correctly.
Right.
But no, she's an extremely good shot, and she knows where all the weapons are located. And we have a home defense plan set up, either for when she's home or when she's not home. And it's crazy because, and we had this conversation. It was like last month. We were both sleeping, and like in her dream, she heard something like break downstairs. So of course she woke up and was like, "Hey, babe, like I heard something break." So of course I got up and I grabbed the handgun. I swept the house, and then when I got back up, I mean nothing happened. I got back upstairs and she's like, I was thinking, if you take the handgun and sweep the house, what am I gonna have?
Oh yeah, yes, that's a good point. That's a good point.
So she's got her own weapons. She has a plethora of weapons that she has at her disposal, and she knows exactly where to take the kids in an event of an intruder, when to call 911, what exactly to say to 911, to the dispatcher, and how to render first aid to a subject. Because our goal in home invasion, and you will understand in class, is not to kill the threat. We are trying to stop the threat. It is, of course, unfortunate if that threat does pass away while we are stopping the threat, but that is not the goal. And you will also know that we will never do headshots. We don't shoot for the leg. We don't shoot for no arm or shoulder. We shoot for center mass because it is the easiest thing to hit. And that is, unfortunately, where all the vital organs are. And that is one way to subdue and stop your threat.
It's a bigger target, too.
It's a much bigger target. Everything else can move around way too much.
Yeah.
And then you start missing all that stuff. So, yes, we have a very detailed home invasion, home defense plan.
For me, I'm kind of by myself. Like if I'm not here, the lady she knows what to do. She got her weapon in her end table. But most of the time, if I'm home by myself, so they can run up here if they want.
Yeah.
Take that training.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, I'm in an interesting situation because I do my family. We just got a big house. All of us there. Everybody's pitching in, so we kind of got like a village type of situation. Just my grandmother was sick, and then so we kind of taking care of her and everything. And I will definitely say that like in my household, definitely myself and my wife, we're kind of the ones that kind of handle the situation. But I will say, as far as equipment goes, I'm the only one that has firearm. She doesn't. But now that you got me thinking now after your wife saying that, like, yeah, now I probably got to get mine a firearm. Because my wife know how to shoot too. We go to the range. Lately, it's just been expensive. But until we get that one thing that we was just working on.
Yes.
But
yes.
But no, it does make you think like what happens if you're not there. And me, I'm always on the run. I'm out doing stuff. So you got me even thinking on that now, like just different plans and what to do. So
I mean, you gotta think about those things. Like it's one of those things where you want to think about it before you're put in the situation.
Absolutely.
Because once you're in the situation, it's like, damn, you don't have time to.
If you don't have that plan,
yeah,
you gotta stay prepared.
What's the saying? I'd rather be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
Yeah. So no, y'all got me even with this. Y'all got me thinking. So yeah, next time we have this podcast or something like I'm definitely more prepared in that situation. So.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
And like I said, I mean, in our class, we do go over how to create a home defense plan and a shooter evasion plan or something like that. So if you guys are interested, obviously you can always hit us up. You can find us on ovwpro.com. That is our website, or ovwpro on Facebook. That is our Facebook page, or Overwatch_protection for Instagram. We are starting to post a lot more on those social medias. You'll probably see our ad running around. Don't be afraid to message us, hit us up, call. The numbers on there, emails all on there. And I mean, we like I said, we are so strong on wanting to get this self-defense and getting everyone armed and protected as legally and responsibly as possible. And we also offer discounts for referrals, or even like if you come and want to take a class and you have a friend or family member or whoever that wants to take a class with you, both of you guys are getting discounts. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's on all services. And then, like I said, check us out on our free Christ class. That's some valuable information that's for free that you guys can take. Yeah. Free. So as of right now, we offer the HQL course Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. And then most Saturdays and Sundays, starting Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday at 4 p.m. and ends around 8:30. Saturdays and Sundays, 9 a.m. to about 1 p.m. We will offer the wear and carry class for the state of Maryland once a month. You can find all this stuff on the calendar or on the website. Every Wednesday, we offer that Florida CWL class. That starts at 6 p.m. It's only a 2-hour class. Once again, all the classes are online.
Yep.
All virtual classes on Zoom. Once you guys register, you will get the Zoom link in an email after your registration. It's all automated, so it's all good. You have the instructor's information on there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Anybody have any last few words that they want to say?
I do want to say something just to kind of give I like what you said earlier, how you said that you're not teaching people how to kill. You're teaching people how to responsibly, just stop the situation.
Yes.
And I think that's incredibly important. I think that is very important. Even that's something I tell my students as well. It's like, yes, you're playing around with choking people out, asphyxiation, breaking arms, and that type of thing. But at the end of the day, that should be your goal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we all, as humans, we don't want to hurt each other.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, of course, there's some bad people out there that may think otherwise. But for us sane individuals, it's like, it does something. Like, I know me, I'm incredibly empathetic. I'm very empathetic, sometimes to a fault.
Yeah.
There's certain jobs I couldn't do. I know some people who do paramedic. I can't be a paramedic at all. Like, I couldn't. And my dad, he was a police officer. He was a retired lieutenant.
Yeah.
Couldn't do that job because he just told me these things that he just saw. I'm like, nope, I can't do it. I can't. I take things personal when it comes down to when I see kids or something like that. So I'm empathetic, and I think that what you said is very important. Like, we ain't doing this to teach you how to be a weapon. You know what I mean? Like, you just be how to defend yourself.
We're teaching you how to survive.
Exactly.
And that means surviving at all costs.
Absolutely.
But the number one goal is to survive. And once again, just to touch on that, like in our legal use of force class, we also offer mini classes. So we have a mini 90-minute home defense class, gear and gadgets class, shooting fundamentals class. The legal use of force class, all those. We also offer those 90-minute classes, and those are $15-$20. It's 90 minutes. I mean, if you guys are interested in that, please contact us because we can get those handles out really easily. But you also learn once again within the legal use of force class. If you're presented with a situation where you defend yourself And so there's one scenario that's on there that I really like. So you turn down an alley. Strike one, ready for you.
Yeah.
But I mean, you turn down an alley. Somebody comes at you with a gun, and they're trying to pull a gun on you, and then you end up returning fire. That's not the threat, and then they drop the weapon, and then they started like they're injured and still coming towards you while you're trying to give them commands to stop. At that point in time, make your escape.
Right.
Once again, you're like they've dropped the weapon. They are injured. You were not injured at this point in time. Your goal should not be to continue to fire because they tried to mess with you. Your goal should be to escape.
Yep.
Remove yourself from the situation. The last thing I'll say about it is the state of Maryland is not like Florida. Florida has you stand your ground. The state of Maryland, you have the duty to retreat.
Right.
Yep.
And like the duty to retreat applies at every single point during your scenario situation. If you have the ability to retreat, you are obligated to retreat. This isn't Florida or other southern states where you're standing your ground, and then at that point you're like, somebody come mess with me, bang, bang, bang. No. And I believe that you should carry that duty to retreat mindset anywhere you go, even if it's in a stand your ground state. Because once again, the goal is not to take life.
Yes.
The goal is to preserve life.
Exactly. And shoot, I'm an avid runner, so if you need to be taught how to run, I got you.
I hate you. I hate you.
I will teach you how to run.
I truly hate you right now. That's that Marine stuff, man. Eat crayons and run laps. Oh my goodness. Nah, but honestly though, like once again, we are happy to provide the services that we provide. This is for everyone else's well-being and benefits. This isn't a business that we created to try to just profit off of and make money. Our main goal is to legally and responsibly teach people how to defend themselves in dangerous situations because the world nowadays is getting more dangerous day by day.
Also, inform those who don't know.
Absolutely.
Yep, spread the word.
Because I'm going to be honest, a lot of this stuff, I knew self-defense stuff and weapons management stuff, but the legal aspect of everything, I didn't really start understanding until I became an instructor and started studying the material and stuff. Because you can defend yourself and you can still be in trouble if you're going by the letter of the law. So you have to know your state laws. You got to stay up to date with it because this stuff changes all the time.
Absolutely.
And we would do our best to stay up to date with those laws and then present those things to you guys as soon as we get the information. You guys anything else?
Yeah.
All right. Y'all take it easy, and we'll see you guys next episode.